Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me at Brewers Distributors Limited. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Why should we hire you?
Well, that's a good standard question. I think first off, one of the big reasons why I think you guys should hire me, I have quite a bit, but I think first off, in your guys' posting for the interview, posting for the job, you guys really stress about health and safety. So the nice thing with us at Cal Tire, in my position as the assistant manager, I'm actually in charge of all the safety policies and procedures there with us. Um, so that includes all the incident investigating, all incident reporting. Not to mention, I have to do monthly reports and meetings, and so I'm consistently having to follow up in inputting those data inputting that data into our software for the zone managers and for I'm sorry, and for head office to review. Not to mention, you guys talk about efficient and cost effective. So with Cal Tire, it's really important that we have to stay efficient. We have to be cost effective. Yes, we have really big peak seasons where we're seeing lots of high volume, where we're doing 40, 50, 70 vehicles in a specific day, all the way to the slow seasons, like right now in the middle of winter, where we're seeing 5, 10 cars in a slower day. So we really have to be strict when it is time to be strict. And then we really have to be weary and efficient when we are extremely busy, because if we're not efficient, our time frames are going to be off. Customer reviews are going to go down. So we have this thing called Bayflow, which helps us, which is a standard operating of how we perform each tire changeover, the repairs, brake services, all what's called SOPs, all our standard operator procedures. Not to mention budgeting. So every month, I go through the budget. I actually set the budget with my store manager, which kind of leads me into, I run all of our, right now we do a store plan. So that's a year plan that between the store manager and I, we develop. And then from the year plan, we have to break that down into 30, 60, and 90-day strategies. So including that 30-day strategy is that budget. We also do our our scheduling. So we got to make sure we have the appropriate teams for the flow of our business. So when our really peak seasons, we're going to have to hire, which again, training and team development, which you guys stressed was really important for you guys. So I was in charge of training the seasonal teams, developing those seasonal teams so they were proficient enough to do our services and keep up with our expectations and bay flows. Without that, we're going to be slow. We have a 90-minute guarantee to do 45 minutes to an hour's worth of work. So we get any sort of hiccups and get behind, that can really domino effect throughout the day, and obviously can hinder profits and hinder customer satisfaction. Yeah, and then I guess lastly, I got passionate for beer. So not that I'm going to drink all the your guys' product, but I think it also helps when you're distributing something you maybe enjoy, maybe adds that little bit of extra enjoyment into what you're doing.
Where would you like to be in your career 5 years from now?
Oh, great question as well. Well, 5 years from now, I would like to be with Brewery Distributors Limited. Right now, I would be going into an assistant supervisor role of the operations. Obviously, I'd like to get proficient and effective at that, master that role. But I think within 5 years, I definitely would be able to surpass that, and then hopefully get into a full assistant management role, or not even like a general or general manager, or more of a higher team developing strategy role, which is a passion of mine because, again, if you look through my resume, I've been developing teams with Cal Tire, but also coach and develop football teams. So mentorship is a passion of mine as well. that I want and need, wish to continue into the future.
Can you tell me about a conflict you encountered at work and how you dealt with it?
Of course, conflicts seem to be everywhere. I think we could kind of even talk about just the last 2 years, how I'm sure we're all been in crisis management. So even just kind of that initial effect of COVID, having to deal with restrictions, dealing with PPE all of a sudden in different aspects than what we were probably used to, especially in our line of work. But outside of COVID, there's actually kind of a crazy story. When I was working at a company called City Search Rental Network, where I was a communications service representative. So basically, I was just a liaison between the property management, us as a property management company, to the actual property owners, and then as well to the people renting and living in the homes. So as I'm sure you could probably assume, there's quite a bit of conflict when it comes to rental properties. One time, we actually make this story kind of quick, but one time we had a fire in one of the rental properties. So we were the difficult part is we had contracted these painters to come in and paint the walls and kind of do some contract work and kind of just touch up the apartment. And so one of their cloths had caught on fire and started a chemical fire. And so trying to be the liaison between the actual property owner. Luckily, no one was in the home, so no one got hurt. But having to deal with the property management company, between the fire department and having to insurance companies, were really having to be that middle person and really help resolve all the issues and come to a resolution, which luckily for me wasn't on our end, mostly just being that liaison, making sure everyone has the right information. But more specifically, at Cal Tire, we also recently, we have two great team members, but one's very detail orientated and one's very kind of strict. I wouldn't say strict, but he has kind of in his own ways, and again, very attention to detail, likes to do things in order. And then I have another guy who is great to work with as well, but he's kind of a more fly by your seat, get things done as quickly as possible, but obviously without affecting safety or anything like that, but wants to get the job done. And sometimes he's better at juggling. So sometimes when they can work together, it's like water and oil. Great uses individually, but don't mix well. And so they had kind of got heated, and one of my team members got really frustrated and was being visibly upset, and it was causing turmoil around the team at the time. We had a group of about 10 tire guys. So when you have two guys just being real big conflict, it creates real animosity and it creates a real tough situation. So me and my general manager, we pulled them both aside. We did some conflict resolution, talked it out. What was the root of the issue? Turns out, not to get into too many specifics, but it all boiled down to one of the team members just didn't feel like he was being paid enough. He was still kind of within 5% of what a new hire would be. And so that was, we had discussed that about how this isn't the right time or situation to be bringing these things up. If there is those types of issues, to be bringing those up in a more positive manner. But at times, things boil and we get busy, and you have to learn that it's not a fault of the team member, but working within ourselves and our emotions to get the job done.
Tell me about a time when you demonstrated leadership skills.
Of course. Yeah, leadership. Like I kind of mentioned before, with health and safety, I'm leading and managing that role. Team development. So like I said, I'm managing and bringing in new hires, developing those as individual teams. But outside of even work, like I mentioned previously, I'm a football coach. So I've been mentoring and coaching, developing young individuals even since I was in high school. Always trying to coach and teach the younger generation. And not to mention with coaching, but even when I was playing, I was a captain of my high school football teams, and then even in my junior professional career, I was actually the captain of the Calgary Colts, which is a junior football kind of equivalent to the WHL, which is kind of like a minor professional league. And then lastly, I would just say for myself, when I first started at Cal Tire, I was, basic training. I mostly have a sales background. And so going into still sales, but into an automotive industry where I hadn't really been before in service, having to learn and develop those skills, and then taking that role, carrying it all the way to being the assistant manager within a year, really, I think, speaks volumes to the self-leadership and self-motivation to be able to learn and execute all those things into what it becomes to be an assistant manager. Being able to do that efficiently, but not jumping steps, but doing it the right way, but just being able to get it done the right way as well.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you having me. Like I said, I'm really excited for this interview with you. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on my phone number. And you also have my email. If I don't hear from you in the next, I'm sure you're going through interview process. So if I don't hear with you within a week, I'll probably contact you guys just to see where you guys are at. If there's any other follow-up questions that I could answer at that time, I'd love to be able to help you guys out. Again, really appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.